If you're looking to capture some data on your riding, there are a few options out there. One of them is a polar watch, and there are a few versions of it, but the Vantage M seems to be the best for the cycling type tracking, according to some internet testing. Now, I've put this watch through its paces and have a few things to keep in mind if you're looking at getting one. Hey everyone, I'm Mitch. Thanks for checking out another video on the YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going over the Polar Vantage watch as it pertains to riders and athletes and whether or not I think you should get one. I put this one through its paces. I'm going to give you some feedback. One of the huge draws to getting a GPS type watch is its ability to capture location and data like speed. So it goes without saying that GPS accuracy is a pretty important feature. And in my opinion, the Polar Vantage watch GPS, honestly, it's pretty decent. Again, I've put this thing through its paces. I have found that like with any GPS device, there's always some room for error, right? It might jump around a little bit, but overall, this thing seems to be pretty accurate, honestly. It's able to follow me around the track pretty easily, and I would say even more so than my Apple Watch 6. So put that in the win column for the Polar Vantage watch. GPS is pretty good. The next big draw for the smartwatches is a heart rate monitor. The Polar Vantage M does have one, and it does seem to be fairly accurate. Sometimes. So for me, this is really the bigger issue with the Polar Vantage watch is the heart rate monitor. There are times where it's somewhat accurate, like if you're sitting at rest and you're just wearing it and you want to check it, yeah, it's probably going to be pretty accurate. But if you're doing any sort of riding or if you're doing any sort of workout, this thing is wildly, and I mean wildly inaccurate. I'll be huffing and puffing and this watch will tell me that my heart rate's at like 100 beats per minute when I know just from having done it so much that it's probably well over 160, close to 170 beats per minute. So it's wildly inaccurate. That's a big deal for me, right? Because you want the heart rate monitor on these things to work well. As a matter of fact, my Apple 6 watch, the heart rate monitor on it is much more accurate when I'm working out. It's a huge draw for me. Now, is this a kill shot? Depends. You can get the Polar chest strap heart rate monitor that pairs with this really nicely. That's what I use while I'm riding. I wear the chest strap, and it is really accurate. However, it does cost another 120 bucks or so to get. You can pair it with this, and then you can have a really accurate way of measuring your heart rate. If you're still dead set on getting one of these, that's a solution to the heart rate problem. But that's not a tick in the win. That's a tick in the cons part of this watch. So should you get one? Or would I buy it again if I had a time machine and could go back, or would I pick something else? That's a good question, and honestly, I'll say it depends. Depends on what you want to use it for. If you're using it on like my GoPro videos where I have the Lit Pro and stuff, it does integrate pretty seamlessly with that kind of thing, which is a bonus. However, there is one really big area of contention with me, is the watch's ability to decide whether or not you're overtraining or not. I would train 2 times a day, like hard workouts, and this thing would, I don't think it's actually sensing what you're doing for workouts. I don't think it takes into account any of your personal data. I literally think it's just set on well, today he's supposed to do some recovery. Today he's supposed to do some weights. The next day he's supposed to do this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it bases your overtraining, undertraining, or on target just off of that. And obviously I don't follow this thing's workout schedule. I have my own program. So with that said, a lot of times it would say that I'm overtraining when I didn't feel like it. And it would say when I'm like way undertraining, it actually would give me a notification and say, hey, you're detraining. You're gonna get less fit if you continue this up. Whereas it's like, are you serious? I just did a 10K run plus a hard circuit workout. I got nothing left in the tank and you're telling me I'm detraining? I just don't buy it. So that is one of the things that I had a big problem with. But if that's not really a concern for you, if you're not looking at the overtraining or undertraining or that kind of stuff, the GPS works good. You can pair it with a heart rate strap to get a more accurate heart rate measurement. It is pretty robust. I have put this thing through a lot, and it's not too dinged up. It honestly kind of takes a pretty good punishment. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. I don't think I would buy one again unless they upgrade the system and it comes with a much more intelligent ability to determine whether or not I'm getting fitter and that kind of stuff, because that was a huge hang up for me as well as the heart rate monitor. So the Apple Watch seems to be pretty good, although its fitness, its ability to track your fitness isn't quite as good as a system like this. So I don't know, I'm still looking. But anyway, that's the Polar Vantage watch. I hope you liked the video. Smash subscribe for me. We'll see you in the next one.